Former Vice President Biden closing in on President Trump's lead in Pennsylvania. Hundreds of thousands of ballots are still being counted there. That hasn't stopped President Trump from claiming falsely that the state is a win for him.
That's right. So let's bring in Pennsylvania Attorney General Josh Shapiro. So let's begin, Josh, with the new court ruling in your state. It just happened, allowing the Trump campaign observers to be closer when they're observing that vote counting that's going on right now. The campaign calling it a major victory. You're, of course, a man of the law. I'm curious, what does this ruling mean, in your opinion, for the process, the perception, and the reality of it?
Yeah, look, I mean, there's a difference between what's being said and the reality. Here's the reality of what's happening in Pennsylvania. We've said for months we were going to secure and protect the election, and we had a very smooth process. And then we said we were going to make sure all these legal votes would be counted. And that's what's happening right now. It's happening in Philadelphia, and it's happening all across Pennsylvania. I gather there was some interest in having additional observers in the process. This has been a transparent process. It's been an open process. That's fine. But what is going to continue is the counting of these ballots to make sure that the will of the people here in Pennsylvania is respected and reflected in the ultimate outcome. And the way we do that is by following the law and counting these votes.
Attorney General,
what's happening.
Yeah, give us a sense exactly what these observers are doing and how much closer are they?
Well, observers in general, I can't speak to this particular person or persons, observers in general are permitted to watch the processing and the counting of these ballots. And you can even see, in fact, I think you had it up on your screen earlier, a live stream of what's going on in Philadelphia is, I believe, what you had up there. And so they're seeing exactly what you're seeing. This is an open process, it's a transparent process, and it's a process guarded by law. And we'll protect that process for whichever candidate or whichever party wants to use it. What we will not do is allow that process to be abused in any way. The ability to observe doesn't give you the right to disturb. And so we will make sure that the law is followed, that observers have access, but most importantly, we'll make sure that there is an accurate count of these legal ballots.
But Mr. Shapiro, are you taking them at their word, the Trump campaign at their word, that they don't believe their observers have been close enough? They're talking about 20 to 30 feet. You're saying they're seeing what we're seeing, but is that actually close enough? And I know some of this is just politics and there's the presidency is at stake here, but do you, as the chief law enforcement officer of that state, do you take them at their word that you need to look into this and make sure their observers are as close as they can and safely need to be?
Yeah. So a few comments. One, just from a legal perspective, this is a matter being handled technically by the city of Philadelphia. So it's not my case as the Attorney General, but I do want to answer your question. I don't sort of take anybody at their word in the politics of this situation. And I would sort of urge everybody to cut the politics out. The campaign is over. The votes have been cast. And now we're going through the process of counting these votes. And we'll continue to make sure that all laws in Pennsylvania are followed, including the laws that guarantee transparency in the process, which there has been.
And Attorney General, I want to follow up with some of the things that the president has been doing and saying. He obviously made that premature declaration that he's won your state of Pennsylvania, and his campaign officials have repeatedly been making baseless claims about magical ballots showing up. I've even seen this on my social media accounts, people saying that magical ballots are showing up all for Biden and none for Trump. What is your response to those claims?
Look, I hesitate to even respond to something that, even as you correctly pointed out, is baseless. So let me just give you a technical, factual answer as to what these ballots are, right? These ballots were cast by eligible voters a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whenever they were cast. They were dropped off in drop boxes all across Pennsylvania. They were sent back through the U.S. Postal Service. These are legal votes. They're being counted now. Now, I recognize that folks wish maybe the process went a little bit faster. Heck, my kids even keep bothering me, wondering when this is going to be over. I hear that. I get it. And I'm very empathetic to that. But what we've got to do is just make sure we have a legal count. And that process is going on right now. We're counting legal ballots in a legal manner. And as the Secretary of State indicated yesterday, she thinks that the vast majority of ballots will be counted by the end of the day today. And so I think you'll have greater clarity as to where Pennsylvania is and what the will of the people is here.
All right. Well, clarity is what we need right now. Pennsylvania Attorney General Josh Shapiro, we know you are very busy, so we thank you for your time.
Great to be with you.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.